Just chilling outside my chicken coop right there. I gotta clean it up a little bit so before I get these chicks. Anyways, and here comes my dog Tino. What's up, Tino? But see, there he is. So we gotta have a conversation about doomsday prep. All right, y'all, let's have a conversation. Why should you, as a black person, become a doomsday prepper? Well, let me make it simple for you. If there's a natural disaster, if there's an emergency, if there's ever a problem that arises that people need emergency services, I think Hurricane Katrina, I think what happened in Maui, those weren't black people, but they weren't white either. I think those situations have showed you what the government will and certainly will not do to help you. There are certain places in this country right now, like Flint, Michigan, and Jackson, Mississippi, that still to this very day doesn't have clean drinking water. Okay, to this very day. And some people are like, oh, that problem's been solved. Stop it. Stop it, stop it, stop it. I hear from people who live in those areas all the time who says, hey, don't drink the water. Okay? So I'm not going to argue with those people. I'm going to believe people who live in those areas. You know, during the pandemic, you had shortages of food, bottled water, rubbing alcohol. In fact, even now in the modern day in certain European countries, they're having egg shortages. See, this is why I have my chicken coop. So I can have my own eggs. See, I want my own eggs. I don't want to rely on for your grocery stores. Okay. Doomsday prepping is not about a bunch of crazy people who just so anti-government, who just want to hole up somewhere because they're scared of aliens or a zombie apocalypse, or they're afraid of werewolves. That's a media misrepresentation. Why would the government discourage you from becoming a doomsday prepper? Well, it's very, very simple. If, let's just say, for example, what would happen to local governments who control water supplies and charge you a water bill? What would happen if all of you said, hey, I want a well? Those companies will go out of business, and those local governments, they would take a big financial hit. Okay? They need for you to be invested in the system. This is why they try to get you to vote so much. That's why they want you to encounter the police. They want you to go to court. They want you to pay your taxes. They want you invested in the system. But the more you become self-dependent and self-reliant, the more you take your power back as a citizen. See, I'm not worried about rising inflation costs. I can grow my own food. I can raise my own food, as you can see. I'm not worried about, being able to find food for my family. I'm not worried about water when I have not only 2 wells, but I have actually a natural stream, and I have 2 ponds. So prepping and preparing for things that, to be honest with you, some of them will come, like natural disasters, forest fires, war, famine, stuff like that. It will come. You better be prepared. Doomsday prepping isn't just about stocking up on water and food and ammo. That's not it. You also got to stock up on medical supplies, stock up on knowledge. Go to training. Go to first aid training. Go to every class, every study. Watch every YouTube video, every TikTok video. Read every book that you possibly can. Doomsday prepping is not just about physical preparations. It's also about the mental ones. A lot of doomsday preppers can actually walk out into a forest and come out with a full plate of food. You may not find it super duper edible or appetizing, but it is edible. I can walk out in the middle of the woods right now, find mushrooms and eat them. Berries, all that stuff. That's the kind of knowledge you get when you prepare. When you take your own survival seriously. See, the reason why I got into doomsday prepping, because I realized during the pandemic how much the government didn't care. The deciding factor for me to be a prepper or not was when the government was acting like it was a favor that they were giving us a stimulus. And I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute. You people voted on giving yourself raises and you're debating on giving us a stimulus? This is our money. Did you just give a bunch of money to all these other countries that I don't even live at, that I don't ever plan to visit? Once you see that, once you see how the government reacted to natural disasters like in Maui, Hurricane Katrina, honestly, Hurricane Hugo. Shit. I mean, you really, really realize it is time to prepare. I'm not saying that you should prepare because I'm saying that something bad is going to happen tomorrow. I'm saying you should prepare because your local government, these non-government organizations, these NGOs, they are always incompetent. And my whole philosophy with prepping is I'm not going to prepare so much for the dangers of nature. I'm going to prepare for all the people who's going to come my way asking for my help because I prepared and they didn't. And also I'm going to prepare for what the government isn't going to do, which is everything. So not only do I prepare for things to come, I prepare to defend myself from animals, insects, people with uniforms, if you know what I mean. The point of all this is to not make you a paranoid, person walking around, I'm scared of everything around the corner. The point of this is to help you remember what's happened in the past 4 years. Because some of you have seemed to have forgotten. Some of you have forgotten that in some areas you couldn't find eggs. In some areas, a steak costs $25. I tried to buy a ribeye steak. $25? It's not even cooked, bro. It's still in the package, bro. I'm still struggling with that. Okay, I'm still struggling. Jesus, why? But some of you have forgotten that there was a toilet paper shortage. Some of you have forgotten that there was no toilet paper. This is why my wife, funny thing, I'm gonna say something about my wife. My wife is not a hoarder, though you might think so, but she's not. She just prepares. My wife buys 6 24 packs of toilet paper, and she has that on auto delivery from the grocery store. Because during the pandemic, oh Lord, we was going through it. Jesus. See, that's the kind of mindset that a prepper has. People think that preppers start prepping based on, paranoia. But most preppers that I know, they prep based on things that they've already experienced. This is why a lot of preppers happen to be combat veterans. Because we've seen the worst. We've been out in the field with no food. We've been out in combat. They telling you, oh, don't worry, the DFAC on the freaking fob is gonna be open, and that's only if the DFAC ain't been hit by a freaking rocket attack, okay? Or freaking mortar. We've been through that. We know how bad things can get, okay? So as a black person, you should become a prepper, not so much because I'm telling you about that aliens are coming and zombies. That's not real. I'm telling you because the government is not going to help you. And some of you have to realize that. It's time to stop relying off of the government who you say is racist. Okay? If they're racist and they've shown you nothing but racism, then who do you think they're going to save first from the freaking fire or the hurricane or the freaking tornado? All right? Who do you think they're saving first? It ain't you, black person. Get over it. Start preparing. Even if you live in urban environments, there's practical steps you can take. First aid training, getting a first aid kit, having a fire extinguisher, having a gas mask, getting in shape, having some extra food, MREs, having some extra water. There's steps you can take right now. Because I'm telling you, as a black person, you see how they are prioritizing everybody else but you. So when a disaster comes, who do you think they're going to prioritize? And who do you think should be prepping the most?